And what an honor and pleasure to be here. My name is Eric. I am going to be your guide, your yoga guide over the next 25 minutes. And it is an honor to represent Comeback Yoga. Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit organization that provides free yoga classes and free yoga training up and down the Front Range from Fort Collins all the way down to Colorado Springs. And we'd love for you to check out our schedule, check out our website, see how you might be able to participate. All of our classes are free, and we have lots of other training and opportunities to volunteer or become a yoga instructor yourself. We could always use more instructors. Veterans that are looking for scholarships to become a yoga instructor, we might have something there for you. I'm not sure, but every once in a while we do. And then if you feel so inclined to donate, either volunteer time or donate money, we sure could use your help. This is a process, and we're always learning and expanding and finding new ways to serve the veteran community. With that said, this today's class is serving the veteran community because we are going to be focusing on the lower body. Now, the lower body, from the waist down, for the most part, this is our center of gravity. So if we can get the center of gravity to relax, the rest of the nervous system can realign itself. So let's see what we can do to facilitate this realignment, this relaxation, this changing over to the parasympathetic nervous system. And the first asana that we're going to do is the Hindi squat. I call it the Hindi squat. I'm sure there's another name, but this is a farmer practical class, so the Hindi squat, and then you just go ahead and take a nice big wide step out and then drop the tailbone. Now you can use support, you can use your blocks to support you, but once you get to the squat, time and gravity. That's all we need is time and gravity. Over time, the pelvic floor will start to shift, the hips will open up, and then you have this nice traction of the spine, this realignment of the spine. And just breathe. Now, one of our first principle in the practice is to breathe in such a way that there is no pausing in the breath cycle. In through the nostril and out through the nostril. There will be some times I might change it up, but for the most part, as you're just breathing through the class, which we all will be breathing through the class, see if you can catch yourself pausing. Okay. And if you catch yourself pausing, that's perfect. That's no problem. But you want to breathe deliberately with no pausing in the breath cycle. No pausing in the breath cycle. And then the second principle that we want to apply to our practice today is to find the sweet spot. So, finding the sweet spot. The sweet spot is that spot where it feels just right. There's a certain amount of engagement, but relaxedness, tension, and ease, effort, no effort. Okay. There's this sweet spot where there's a pleasant sensation of the engagement of the posture. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. And then let's go ahead and release this, and we'll just come into a seat. Straighten out your legs. Now, watch this. So we're going to take our legs and offer our legs a little tapotment. Tapotment. This little bup right on the floor. The fascia just loves it. And if you'll notice as you just kind of give this little wiggle on the floor with the legs, that the legs start to relax. Look for any relaxation, big organic breaths. All right. And then coming into our next posture, which is the old gymnasium posture, the old butterfly stretch. So let's put the tops of the bottoms of the feet together, and then for at first when we're doing this, just go ahead and put your hands behind your back and sit up nice and straight. and feel a nice stretch in the adductor, and then maybe a little bit of a wiggle on the knees. Now you don't want to force anything. It should feel good. So look for any pleasant sensations within the pose. Find the sweet spot, no pausing in the breath cycle. Everything that I'm presenting to you is presented with the intention for it to feel good. So within yourself, find the sweet spot. Okay, everybody's a little bit different. All right. All right. And then in this butterfly pose, let's go ahead and grab the feet and then start leaning forward. Now, when we're leaning forward and towards the feet, the sternum presses forward, drawing your shoulders back and down, lengthening through the back of the neck, broadening through the collarbone, and breathing. No pausing in the breath cycle. And fine. You can even give a little wiggle of those knees if you like, if that feels right and feels good. But you want to keep breathing, no pausing in the breath cycle, finding the sweet spot and finding any opportunities in which you can relax, or you find any organic breaths where you just feel like this big breath comes out of nowhere. And then any opportunities for the mind to relax, where you just become very focused and present here and now. And then go ahead and release that and shake that out. Straighten out those legs. And then that tapotment move, where you're just giving that little up right against the floor. That nervous system, that fascia will just start to relax through the legs. All right. Next is child's pose. Child's pose. Now, these sometimes are not so fun on the knees, so you can roll up your mat a little bit to give a little extra cushion, but you want your toes touching and your knees apart. And then you want to start bringing the sternum towards the mat. Now, you want to find that sweet spot. Okay, now for me, I've got a mic, so I have to just be able to just go down partial way. But the goal is to work your way to where your forehead is on the mat. You can even roll your forehead left and right, and that can feel real good, bringing some stimulation of the prefrontal lobe, bringing that blood flow into the prefrontal lobe, stretching the fingers forward, and breathing. No pausing in the breath cycle. Find the sweet spot, and then find any opportunities in which you can feel something relax in the body. Notice any opportunities for a big organic breath to come out of nowhere, or any opportunities for the mind to relax, where you just notice that relaxed attentiveness. That relaxed attentiveness. And start coming on up. All right. And then go ahead and sit back down and shake it out. Get that little tapotment movement. All right, let's work on some mobility of the hips and get some twists in. So in this one, we'll have the feet about good hips width distance apart, and then we'll roll to one side. All right, for me, it's the left. So if you want to roll over to the left, you'll notice that the hips line themselves up, the knee to the foot. And then we want to take that right hand, the opposite hand of which we're twisted, we're leaning, and then twist up and to the right. So you want to lift up and then to the right. And breathe. No pausing in the breath cycle. Find the sweet spot. And find any opportunities to relax, any organic breaths, or that relaxed attentiveness. and then release, and then a little counter twist to the left, and then switch it up. Switch it up. All right, the other way now. So left hand goes to that tailbone, and then lifting up, and then to the left. And breathing, no pausing the breath cycle. Find the sweet spot and look for any opportunities to relax. Big organic breaths. Hope you can recognize that relaxed attentiveness. And release. A little counter twist to the other side. Right. And then we'll do a little bit back and forth. So using these hips, we're bringing mobility into the hips. So we want to drop it over to the one side and then back up and over to the other side. And we'll do this about a dozen times. 2, 3. I know. Bringing mobility into the hips. We have static poses. We have poses in which we're moving through the whole process. Now, if we're moving, like in this process, we still want to have no pausing of the breath cycle. And then anytime we're moving, we want to find this smooth movement where there's no pausing in the movement cycle. You just kind of moving from one side to the other. There's like this sense that it are always kind of moving. But that breath always undulating between inhale to exhale, exhale to inhale. Okay, without pausing. And then straighten out the legs, and then that tapotment. All right, great. And then figure 4. Figure 4. I used to break this up between, now we're breaking it up. I used to only do pigeon, but I found out that figure 4 is a much better way to start things out. So laying on your back, and then take that right ankle, put it on the left knee, and then you can have this nice stretch in the hip with figure 4, no pausing of the breath cycle. Find the sweet spot. All right, and find your level of intensity that feels just right. And look for any opportunities for relaxation, organic breath, or that relaxed attentiveness, that relaxed, focused mind, just aware, here, now, content, feeling good, working on it. All right, and then go ahead and release that right leg, straighten it out, bring the right foot down to the mat, and then now the left ankle to the right knee. And guess what? It's the same. We're looking, observing that breathing pattern, no pausing in the breath cycle, which is very pleasing to the nervous system. I'll give you a hint. It's no big yogi secret or anything, but it is just your natural way of breathing is no pausing in the breath cycle. And so if you can just re-register your breath to breathing without pausing in the breath cycle, it will allow the nervous system to just relax throughout the day naturally. All right. Great way to slow time down. And then the sweet spot. Always finding and working and staying in the sweet spot in everything we do. And then I just took a big organic breath. So we're always looking for opportunities to relax, big organic breaths, or that mindful relaxedness. Is that a good way for me to say it? That relaxed attentiveness. And that's about the same amount of time. So let's go ahead and roll up. We're going to roll up and then come to pigeon, which is a very similar, a little bit more intense. Now, how I like to get into pigeon is through downward facing dog. So let's go ahead and come into downward facing dog and then give ourselves a little warm up since we're here, bending the knee, pedaling out the heels. You feel those calves, the stretch of the calves and the hamstring as the hips tilt up, bending the knee, pedaling it out. All right. And then downward facing dog. And then exhale everything out, lift up that right leg, and then the right knee comes to the right wrist, draping the lower leg across the mat. Now, lots of opportunity to find your sweet spot. I'm going to come down to my knees and support myself because I have a mic, and then I can chat to you, but I still feel a nice stretch in that right deep six, that right hip, deep six. No pausing the breath cycle. See if, just watch. Anytime you find yourself pausing or holding your breath or bracing yourself, see if you can just take a breath, a deliberate breath, no pausing in the breath cycle. Find the sweet spot. I hope you associate this class to feeling good, finding the sweet spot. All right. I say, why not? And then notice any opportunities. Give your mind something to do. The mind wants something to do. So tell your mind, say, watch for any opportunities for the body to relax. Any big organic breaths. Or any opportunities for the mind to relax. And you recognize that relaxed attentiveness, that relaxed awareing, focused, equanimic, here, now. Start coming on up. Curl those left toes under, kick that right leg back, shake it out, downward facing dog. Exhale everything out, lifting up that left leg, left knee, left wrist for pigeon on the other side. Now balance it out. Find that same level of intensity on the other side. You might find that one side of the hip is different than the other. That's okay. Same principles though. No pausing in the breath cycle, which is pleasing to the nervous system. Finding the sweet spot where it feels right, just so good. There's enough engagement, but relaxation. Tension, but ease. And then look for any opportunities in which the body relaxes. Any big organic breaths, or the mind relaxes. That relaxed, focused, awareing. That relaxed attentiveness. Poised. Content. Peaceful. Engaged, but at ease. And then start coming on up. Curl the right toes under, kick that left leg back. Shake it out. Downward facing dog. And then come on back down into seat. And then go ahead and stretch those legs out for that Tapotman. All right. How's everybody feeling out there? You feeling good? Everybody feeling good? I hope so. All right, let's come into big stretches. Big stretches in the psoas. We'll do a little PNF stretching. So find your stretch right foot up, and then we're gonna give a nice stretch into that psoas for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then ease it up a little bit, and then come back into that stretch for 7. Now, no pausing in the breath cycle, it's all the same. These are 7-second holds into the stretch, and then look for any opportunities to relax, big organic breaths, and then release that, and then one more time into that. So as enjoy the stretch for 7 seconds, no pausing, find the sweet spot. Any opportunities to relax, organic breaths, or clarity of mind, focus, and then release that. And then we'll come into the hamstring, same thing. 7-second holds coming into the hamstring. So go ahead and engage that hamstring. You press that heel right into the mat. Pull the toes to the nose, 7, 6, and the same thing. Just finding that balance between tightness and relaxation. And then release that. And then come back into that stretch. Right into that hamstring, toes to the nose. Feel that nice stretch. Don't overdo it. It's all about finding the sweet spot and enjoying it. And then release. And then one more time. Allowing that fascia the time to release and relax. And that's about the same time. And then come on up and switch it out. So we got the hip on one, hammy on the other. Now let's balance it out so we don't walk around in circles all day. But let's go ahead and get that hip. So press down into that hip, that right hip now for 7. No pausing in the breath cycle, always finding the sweet spot in anything we do. Anything we do, finding the sweet spot. And then release, and then back into it for 7. No pausing in the breath cycle. Look for those opportunities. All right, and release. And one more time. Enjoy it. And then come back into the hamstring. So we're leaning back into that hamstring, toes to the nose, pressing in for 7 seconds. Making it feel good. Don't overdo it. Don't force anything. The consistency is what will offer the best fruits in the practice. And release. And then again into the hamstring. And breathing. No pausing the breath cycle. Find the sweet spot. And release. And then one more time. Balance it out. Make it feel good. Don't overdo it. And release. And we're coming in the last minute or so. So let's come into seat. Let's ground the practice into the day. So we took 25 minutes or so. Now we set up a practice, a structure. Okay, so how can we pull that into the rest of the day? So the first thing is just that to recognize that relaxed attentiveness and then ground yourself from the tailbone right into the mat, right up the spine, right through the top of your head. That's your center of gravity, your sea legs. Notice when you notice that engage in that center of gravity that the body can just relax down the shoulders, down that spine. Now, no pausing in the breath cycle. That is nothing more than your natural breath. Look for the sweet spots in all you do. And then any opportunities for relaxation, big organic breaths, or recognizing that relaxed attentiveness. And breathe. Be. That sense of peace. I want to thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me today. From one veteran to another, and all those that care for us, love us, and support us, have an amazing day. Be safe. Have fun. Namaste.